華麗なスライディングでしたね、本当に。
Yeah. なんか、みんないろんな別のスタイルで行くのがちょっと見るのが好き。
ちょっとやっぱ一番最初のサイさんの全面の飛び込みすごかったけどね。
Yeah, everyone's got their own little style when they slide into the ramen bowl, I guess.
はい。
But yeah, after this, we have another guest speaker. And then after that, we got a little K-pop group coming out to perform.
はい。
Right? And then after that, we could all come back down to the Web3 garden to party
はい。
while a little DJ does his thing up here. All right?
はい。最後のスピーカーを残して、その後に K-POP アイドルのトリプル S さんと、そしてですね、DJ のブースもございます。その時には、Web3 ガーデンの方に来ていただくこともできますので、お待ちください。
All right.
ちょっと待ってくださいね。
What?
信じられないものがちょっと私の後ろに見えてまして。
Yo, hold on. Yo. I think one of the mascots
なんか
lost.
どう考えても入れない隙間をユニコーンが上がってきてるんですけど。
I think that thing is a little too big for the staircase. Yo, one of the EDCON mascots has made it onto the stage here.
エドコンのマスコットのユニコーンが来てくれました。
Hold on.
どこ行くどこ行く
Over here. Where are you going? Where are you going? Oh, Jesus.
こっち。
Hey,
レフトです、レフト。
EDCON unicorn over here. I feel like I'm catching this thing.
誰ですかこれ？
Who are you?
誰ですか？
Who's in there?
誰ですか？すごい止められてるけど。
Oh yeah, over here.
こっち。どこ行く？
Japanese, you think?
でも。
ちょっと you gotta test Japanese.
こんにちは。
じゃあ日本 Okay, not Japanese.
通じませんでした。何も返ってきませんでした。
Okay.
センター。そこがセンターです。
Oh, you're center right there. Okay.
来すぎです。圧がすごい。
Yo, this thing is huge.
ほんまに誰ですかこれ？
What's going on?
わかんないです。
Hello? Is this what's going on? Yeah.
誰ですか？
こんにちは。Oh, Jesus. Whoa, okay.
怖い。
Oh my God.
前後に揺れているユニコーン。
Whoa. He's on his tippy toes here. Hold on.
倒れない？大丈夫？
All right.
誰ですか？
I think he's hot in there.
せやな。
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Who are you?
Do you hear that?
なんか聞こえた？
Yeah. I think I'm sure I heard something.
なんか言いました？空気の音だけが聞こえます。エアの音だけが。
I don't know what is happening right now, but the EDCON unicorn has snuck up on the stage. And I thought it would. Oh my God!
馬出てきた。馬の中に馬おるやん。
Why does the quality of the horse go up inside of the unicorn?
なんで中の馬の方がリアルやねん。誰？
Hey. No pun. Hey. No pun intended.
すごい馬こっち見てる。
Hey. Can we? Who?
誰ですか？
Who are you?
I am a Dogecoin holder.
なんて。
One more time, please.
I am a Dogecoin holder. I hold Dogecoin.
Sorry, one more time, right, for the ladies and gentlemen.
多分英語。One more. Who are you?
Yo! Hold on!
ビタリック・ブテリンさんです。
Vitalik Buterin in the house! Hey, a round of applause, gee!
ではこのままお話ししていただきましょう。
Thank you.
Great. So happy 9th birthday of Ethereum, everyone. Yeah, the Ethereum chain launched on July 30th back in 2015. I still remember when I was at the Berlin office on that day, and a lot of developers came together, and we were all watching the blocks on the Ethereum testnet count up to number 102.8201, because that was the number at which the mainnet, Ethereum mainnet would automatically launch. And I still remember, like, us all sitting around and then waiting, and then it hit the number, and then I think it took like about half a minute for Ethereum blocks to actually start coming, but then they did, and they started coming very quickly. And at the time, Ethereum was just less than 100 developers altogether, not even just in the Ethereum Foundation, probably at least working on the protocol, including those outside of the foundation as well. And since then, the Ethereum ecosystem has just become so much bigger than it was then, right? Since then, we've grown into this ecosystem that holds these like multi-thousand person conferences, that has applications with millions of users, where all of the ideas that were in the Ethereum white paper at the time have actually become Ethereum's reality. And I think one of the big questions that everyone in the ecosystem should have is, what will the next 10 years of Ethereum bring? Or, to put it another way, what will, in the next 10 years, you bring to Ethereum? So this over here, so the picture on the left is the very first decentralized Twitter on top of Ethereum. It was called EtherTweet. It's a very simple application. This was launched back in 2015, and all it was just a very simple interface. So you could write what you want to tweet, and then you click send, and then it just immediately becomes a transaction that gets sent to the Ethereum blockchain. On the right, we have this client called Firefly, so done by the Mask network. And this is a multi-client, actually, of both regular Ethereum or regular Twitter and probably the two largest Ethereum-based kind of Twitter-like social media platforms. So one is Farcaster and the other is Lens. So if you ever see me when I write an article and then I publish it, and I send out a tweet on Twitter and a tweet on Farcaster and a tweet on Lens at the time, like, this is actually what I'm using. Now, if you look at the quality of the UI, it's just vastly better than what's in 2015, right? 2015 is like amazing work, amazing developers, but this was like the Wright brothers airplane of decentralized software, right? And today what we have is more like a modern commercial jet. So what do we have here, right? So first of all, the quality of the UX what they're doing. There's even a mobile version, right? There's multiple Farcaster clients. They're all desktop versions, all mobile versions. If you look at the underlying network, on the left, everything was going on Ethereum L1, and everything was a blockchain message. You had to pay for every single time that you tweet. On the right, it actually is a hybrid architecture. It uses a combination of the Ethereum blockchain to store information about accounts, together with an off-chain data structure called a CRDT, which has some of the properties of a blockchain, but not quite all of the properties. And it gets much more efficiency and much lower cost that way to store the actual tweets that people make. So this is what decentralized Twitter looks like in 2024, right? It's something that is easy to use. It's something that is actually affordable to use. It's something that is much more scalable. And it's something that people already are starting to use more and more. just because of its use value, right? Not even because they want to use a crypto product, but because, well, it's actually really fun. So Ethereum is progressively solving all of the problems that it had back in 2019. If anyone here heard me present back in 2015, 2016, 2017, I would talk about the importance of security, scalability, privacy, switching to proof of stake, account abstraction, all of these different concerns. And then if you look at what we have today, right? So if you look at transaction fees, back in 2019, you would often have to pay $1 to $5 to send a transaction on-chain. If you're not lucky, maybe it's over $50. If you're not lucky and you're using some complicated application that involves a ZK snark, maybe $500. I actually paid a transaction fee of like over $500 once just to put a ZK snark on-chain. If you look at today, transaction fees on layer 2 are usually less than 1 cent, right? So if you remember, like back 5 years ago, I made this comment that the internet of money should not cost more than 5 cents per transaction. And then at the time, of course, Ethereum cost more than 5 cents a transaction. And at the time, Bitcoin maximalists were all laughing, and they were saying, like, look, ha ha ha, he says that this is what we need to do to scale, and Ethereum has not scaled. Now, in 2024, we did this major upgrade, which introduced this feature called blobs, right? So this was a hard fork on March 14th or 13th, and it introduced this feature called blobs that increased the amount of data scaling that's available to L2s, and as a result of it, basically every major L2 is now almost always seeing fees that are either less than 1 cent or definitely less than 5 cents. So using the chain is actually affordable now. Transaction inclusion time. Back in 2019, you would often have to wait like 1 to 5 minutes for a transaction to get included. If you were unlucky, you had to wait an hour. Today, because of EIP 1559 making the transaction fee market much more efficient, you generally wait 5 to 20 seconds. And then if you're using L2, many of them offer pre-confirmations, you have to wait less than 1 second. Wallet security. So back in 2019, almost everyone was using externally owned accounts that are controlled by a single private key. So you hold all your money, all your life savings in one private key. And if the private key gets lost, all your money is lost. If the private key gets stolen, all of your money belongs to someone else now. Today, we have a very wide array of options for smart contract wallets. So who here uses a safe? Many people use safe. And I expect within 5 years, like almost everyone will use either a safe or some kind of smart contract wallet. So this gives you much more options in how your account is secured, how you access your account, how you use your account for different applications. So security has improved a lot as well, right? And then also in 2019, Ethereum was proof of work, and it was consuming about as much electricity as a small country. Today, Ethereum is proof of stake, and it's consuming less electricity than a building. So lots of big improvements everywhere. Now, this is all layer 1, right? And layer 1 is continuing to evolve. It's continuing to become more scalable, continuing to become more secure, introducing ZK snarks, introducing statelessness, introducing many things. But the question is, what are we doing this for, right? And ultimately, we need a better layer 1 in order to enable better applications. So what would better applications look like? I think if we could ask the question, what can Ethereum do over the next 10 years? I think from most people's point of view, the thing that people will see are going to be the applications. So basically, I think we have the tools, or we soon will have the tools, to build the best possible applications in every space where using Ethereum makes sense. Now, one thing that I think is interesting is that over the last 10 years, the ideas of where blockchains might be used have actually not changed that much, right? So if you go through the Ethereum white paper from 2014, so this was more than 10 years ago, and you look at the list of applications, one of them was stablecoins. Another one, I basically called it financial derivatives, but basically DeFi. Decentralized exchanges, also DeFi. Then another one was decentralized domain names. Then another one was DAOs. And another one was insurance. And you keep going down the list. And if you look at the things that exist today, we have DeFi. We have great decentralized exchanges. We are starting to have prediction markets. That we talked about that one quite a bit in 2014 as well. We actually have quite a lot of DAOs. We have NFTs. I did not predict NFTs, okay? I did not predict that people would be trading digital monkeys for $2 million. That's all you, okay? But many other things are, I think, it's interesting, right, how much a lot of things have actually changed the same. So what is going to happen in the next 10 years, right? One way to think about this is we can look at some specific types of applications and we can see how far have they gone and we can see how far they could go. So on the left, back in 2019, this was Augur. This was a prediction market that was popular back then. On the right, you have Polymarket. And Polymarket is much more scalable, much lower fees, much easier to use. Again, when I used Augur to trade back in 2020, I paid over $1,000 of transaction fees. Today, Polymarket is on L2, it's on Polygon, and the cost is like almost nothing, right? And so the question is, in 2034, how is something like this going to improve? Let's look at wallets. Wallets are most people's window into the crypto world, right? And wallets have two functions, right? So people can use wallets to make payments, and payments, I think, always has been one of the it was the first use case of crypto, and I think it always has been, and it always will be one of the most important. And wallets are also the way that you interact with applications more generally. Back in 2015, we had this idea to build an Ethereum browser that was called Mist. And the thing that we started with was a simple Ethereum wallet that would do payments. Now, if you look at the UI, if you were around 15 years ago, you would recognize that this was actually, it looks very similar to a Bitcoin client from back then. And at the beginning, Ethereum was really heavily inspired by Bitcoin, right? And Ethereum wallet looks like a Bitcoin wallet. It was a desktop software, this is what it looked like. Now, over here in the middle, 2024, Dymo. This was an Ethereum wallet that is explicitly trying to be as friendly and as easy to use for normal people, for people who are not yet part of the crypto space. And if you look at it, it just looks like Venmo, right? So we've gone from having applications that are like these things in these very early stages to things that actually look like they're ready for normal users. Now, Dymo is for payments. The thing that we don't have yet, I think, is something that is as friendly as Dymo and that is actually secure enough for people to use, that actually is a general purpose, right? That handles people's access to the entire Ethereum world. So one question is, what are wallets going to look like in 2034? I don't think they will look like the Ethereum wallet from 2015. I also don't think that they're going to look like Dymo. Let's look at voting. Voting was one of these use cases that I think a lot of people who are interested in Ethereum were interested in from the beginning, right? That one of the big differences between Ethereum and Bitcoin is that Bitcoin was about money. Ethereum was more generally about creating new kinds of social institutions. One new type of social institution is finance. Another type is voting. And there's a lot about voting that could improve, right? You could try to make votes be more transparent, be more guaranteed to like actually be resistant to manipulation. You could do a lot of things. Back in 2015, knowledge proof-based voting. So this combines blockchains and zero-knowledge proofs to make voting that is simultaneously very trustable and at the same time privacy-preserving. So big improvement in the quality of the underlying technology. And if you just look at the application, it's very easy to use. This is basically Web 2 quality. And so one of the questions to ask is, well, what will voting, and especially voting enabled by a combination of blockchain and cryptographic technology, end up looking like in 2034? A lot of people think about voting as being government elections, right? A vote is something that you do once every 4 years, and it decides the fate of a whole country. I think if we can make voting more efficient and at the same time more secure, we can really expand the set of conditions in which we use voting in our entire online lives. So if you think about likes and retweets on social media, those are also a kind of voting. They're a kind of much more high bandwidth voting, but at the same time, they're also a kind of voting that today is very insecure. Can we use blockchains and ZK technology to make those kinds of votes more secure as well? So I think there's going to be a lot of things that either look like voting or that combine some aspects of voting and some aspects of finance, and we're going to see a lot of really cool things developed in 2034. And you could be one of the people that builds it. Let's look at Ethereum scalability in 2034, right? So on the left is a chart of the amount of data space in Ethereum blocks that we're expecting to have over time. This directly connects to the number of transactions that users can make on layer 2s. The theoretical optimum is that one transaction takes at least 25 bytes on chain if you want to have a rollup. Now, Leona from MintMax is going to come and say, well, actually, you only need 5, and I'll let him make that presentation. PlasmaCon is happening tomorrow. It's great, but let's say 25 for now. So divide 384,000 by 12 seconds, so 32,000 bytes per second. Divide by 25, and you have about 1,280 transactions per second that could happen on layer 2s. Now, the next step is PeerDAS. So this is an upgrade to Ethereum's data space that we want to do next year. Go up from 384 kilobytes to 1 to 4 megabytes. Maybe go up by a factor of, let's say, 8. So now we go up from 1280 transactions per second that can happen on layer 2s to about 10,000. Now, then we go further and we have full DAS, and that might go all the way up to 16 megabytes every 12 seconds. So we're looking at tens of thousands of transactions a second happening on layer 2s, and if you include plasma constructions, it can go up to hundreds of thousands, even millions. So we're basically looking at in the medium term, unlimited scalability on top of Ethereum and secured by Ethereum and in the Ethereum ecosystem. Now, we could also look at the data that's required per rollup transaction, right? So today, data is mostly uncompressed, and it's between 150 and 180 bytes. And if we actually do compression, then we actually go down to the 25 bytes that we're talking about. And then if you go further and then use Plasma, like that can go even less. So more and more transaction volume, which also means that Ethereum users will be able to benefit from lower and lower fees. User experience and security in 2024. One of the challenges that we have in adoption is basically that if you have coins, there's two ways to hold your coins. One way to hold your coins is the very paranoid way, right? Basically, you have a key, and you have this, number that might be stored on your computer. It might be written down on a piece of paper. Maybe it's on a computer that never goes online. You try to be as secure as possible, but then it's difficult to use. And at the same time, maybe you still make a mistake. Maybe you try so hard to be secure, to protect against a theft, that you end up losing access to your coins yourself. Or maybe you try so hard to make sure you can access your coins even if many different things happen, that one of those things gets attacked and someone steals your coins. On the other extreme, we have people who just give up on that approach entirely, and they say, I'm going to trust Coinbase with my coins, or I'm going to trust Binance with my coins, or they might decide, there's this guy named Sam, and he looks like a trustworthy guy. He goes on panels together with Bill Clinton. He donates to nice charities. He has his face up on big advertisements in San Francisco. Maybe you should trust him. Maybe you should let him handle all my coins. And then one day in the fall of 2022, it turns out that this guy named Sam is not so trustworthy. And then you wake up, and then you realize you don't have your money anymore. So this is also something that happens many times in our ecosystem, right? And so I think the challenge is that we have to deal with these two extremes, right? This extreme of total self-sovereignty, don't trust anyone, versus this other extreme where you just trust centralization. And I've always thought that the most interesting thing that we could do is we could find something in the middle, and that benefits from both sides of this. And so the thing that we can do is we can what's called multi-sig wallets, right? Wallets where instead of being controlled by one key, they get controlled by multiple keys. For example, controlled by 6 keys, and you need 4 of those keys to approve a transaction if it's big, but only 1 of those keys to approve a transaction if it's small. So this, a lot of people use this, right? This is what you could use for safe. This works for individuals, it works for organizations, but then there's a problem. If you have those 6 keys, what are you actually going to set those 6 different keys to be? What is an option that we can set that actually works for people who are not existing crypto experts? So the way that I see this is that there's 3 different options. One of them is your own devices, right? Your desktop, your phone. We can make your phone more secure by putting the wallet inside of a trusted hardware chip. You can have a hardware wallet, something like a ledger. So this is one option. Or even just a seed phrase stored on a piece of paper. Another option is friends and family, right? If you have other people that you trust, they can be some of your key holders too. And then a third option is institutional key guardians, right? So you can trust institutions with some of your keys so they can help you secure your money, but you don't give them all of your keys. So they do not have enough authority that they can just go and steal your money unilaterally. For institutional guardians, there's 2 different versions. One of them is specialized guardians. So you create a company that intentionally does the job of being a guardian. And another option is you can take existing services, including existing Web 2 services, including centralized ID, including email, government ID, Twitter accounts, and you can use ZK Snark wrappers to turn them into guardians that can help protect your wallet without giving them full authority to actually seize all of your funds. So I think one of the things that I'm excited to see is just a lot more work in these kinds of designs, and basically try to get the best of both worlds, right? Try to get an open and decentralized system where you don't have one single centralized actor that controls your accounts, that controls your assets and all your data, and at the same time have something that is secure, both for people that are full-time in the crypto space and for people that are just joining crypto for the first time. Standardization. Using Ethereum layer 2s should feel like using Ethereum. It should not feel like using 34 different blockchains. So today, depositing to Polymarket, for example, this very complicated process, you have to copy an address, and then you have to make sure, switch over your network to Polygon. You have to like use some custom like application that's like a specialized bridging application, and then if you do the wrong thing, maybe you send your coins to the wrong place. This all can be simplified a lot, right? And I've talked in other places about how this can be simplified, and if we just adopt the right standards for cross-layer 2 exchange and for cross-layer 2 addresses, then moving funds from one layer 2 to another layer 2, from L1 to another layer 2, from a layer 2 to L1, can be just as easy as moving funds within the same network. So another thing is I think the Ethereum builders should not just replicate Web 2. I think we should speed ahead of Web 2, right? I think if we want to be something that the world takes much more seriously and that everyone uses in 2034, we cannot be at the state where in 2034 we build excellent clones of everything that the centralized world has in 2024. We have to go where the target is moving. So a few different ideas. One is other form factors, right? So the big thing that we did between 2014 and now is we moved from just supporting desktop to also supporting desktop and mobile. In 2034, it's not going to be just desktop and mobile, right? So what other form factors? Wearable devices, could be a watch, could be glasses, talking to a locally running AI, augmented reality, brain-computer interfaces, all of these things are coming, and maybe we should actually build applications directly with the idea in mind that this could be how people interact with them. Epistemic technology, so technologies that can help people understand what's true, what's fake, what is a good application, what is a scam on the internet. So community notes is one of my favorites. Prediction markets is also one of my favorites. There's a lot of different things that I think should not even just be separate applications, and they should not just be part of Twitter. I think these things should be built directly into the browser, right? Directly into the interface that you use to access the Web3 world. And I think this is something that we can think about for Web3 browsers. I think this is also something that we can think about even for other kinds of applications. Think about encrypted messengers, for example, right? Many people building encrypted messengers, we like being cypherpunk, we like helping individuals protect their privacy, but at the same time, this is like messengers are something that already exists. What if we don't just do encrypted messaging, we go a step further, right? And we say, well, let's think about what kinds of other things that are being developed in the 2020s could help make messaging even better. What if you have locally integrated AIs, and you could actually have AIs that people choose based on their own values and based on which communities that they're part of, that run locally and that help them understand and make sense of things that other people are saying to them. Another idea is to lead the way on security, right? One of the challenges with the crypto space is that we do have these ongoing security challenges. The reality is that the centralized world is even more insecure, right? The thing with the centralized world is the way that the centralized world does security is by chasing the wolves, right? If there is a wolf, the wolf is attacking people. You send police, you send centralized administrators, you send other people to try to go after them. And if this is the only thing you can do, then this is what you have to do. I think what's interesting about the crypto world is that there is another strategy, which is we can put armor on the sheep, right? We can protect the sheep by building in defenses that just directly protect them from any kinds of threats that appear, regardless of which country they're in, regardless of what kinds of threats they are. And so we do not even need to rely so much on going after people who are attackers, and instead we can protect people at the source. I think this is the only approach that makes sense for crypto, because crypto just is a very chaotic space. It's inherently very globalized. It's inherently open, inherently permissionless. And so you really can't go after attackers to the same extent, right? And so one of my hopes is that if we can figure out how to protect regular users in a way where we actually protect them at the source, then that is something that we could export to the wider world, and we can help the wider world become a much more secure place, and in doing so, also a much more open place at the same time. And I think there is an info defense part of security. So things like community nodes, things like are one example. And then there is also just like a cryptographic security side of things, right? So making sure that at least the base blockchain software does not have bugs in it. With formal verification technology, it might be possible to actually get there. On-chain content versioning. So if someone, basically, instead of accessing dApps through websites, you access dApps through hashes that go onto IPFS. And so if a dApp gets updated, then every user will immediately be able to see. And if an attacker comes in and they take over a website, they will not be able to feed fake versions of a dApp to users immediately, right? It will be much harder for them to do those kinds of attacks. There's a lot of different things that we could do to really lead on security within the Ethereum ecosystem, and I think there's a lot of value in us really trying hard to do this. So, summary, right? I think the last 10 years of Ethereum have been a decade where we focused on theory and we focused on making sure that things work well, right? Making sure that the technology just exists to the point where we can build things. The applications that we built were basically small demos. Anything that people built in 2016, they knew that it could not scale with the technology that existed today. In 2024, we do have that technology. We actually can scale. We actually can reach the quality of UX that we need to appeal to regular users. Very powerful and very consequential applications are already happening on Ethereum. And I think in the next 10 years, we really have to really switch focus, right? We really have to not just think about layer one, but also really think about what are the impacts on the world that we're actually going to have. What are all of these different applications that we're going to build? And how do we build them in a way that actually preserves the values that we all have, and at the same time, actually works well enough to reach people who are not yet part of the crypto space and build things that people want to use. And I do not know the answers, right? And I think all of you, all the developers here, all of the builders, and not even just builders, also every single person in the Ethereum community who expresses their voice has a chance to be part of this process of actually building out this future of Ethereum together. Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody give it up for Vitalik Buterin.
大きな拍手をお願いします。
Oh, he's already going.
早い。
いってらっしゃい。
ありがとうございました。
You gotta be careful because he's wearing the Japanese yukata, right?
ね、浴衣着てましたけど。
Yeah, that thing really rises up. He could have got a really bad wedgie.
もう全然上がっても気になさらず滑ってました。
Yeah.
はい。